Welcome everyone to NFL Playoff Showtime. I am so excited. AFC and NFC championship games are here. Myself, Miguel Mike Medina, my partner Joe Mitchum here. Joe, this is it. The final Sunday before Super Bowl, which will be 2 weeks from now or next week, whatever it is. Um, Two fantastic matchups. And the beauty thing is that the Rams are not in it. So we're gonna have a new champion this year.
Mm.
So the first one we're going to talk about is San Francisco, Philadelphia. I have both teams are great. Both teams have good defense, but I feel that Philadelphia has the upper hand because they have better wide receivers. So their offense is legit. I'm going with Philadelphia, 23-16 in this game. What do you got? What you guys say?
Wow. Thanks, Mike. So yeah, I will say that, as much as I hate to admit it, Philly has probably looked the best out of everybody in the NFL. If you're going by record alone, they've played the best football this year. And so I gotta give them props. I gotta give Jalen Hurts his props. I'm not necessarily a fan of their scheme. I'm not sure if it'll hold up long term, but this year it seemed to do the job. And yeah, as much as I like what Brock Purdy has done with his opportunity at the 49ers, and it would be crazy if he ended up beating the Eagles, I got to go with the Eagles too. Probably, I mean, the Eagles, they both have good defenses, but San Francisco's defense is something to really pay attention to. So I'll have it a little more closer. I'll go with 27-20.
Not bad, not bad. And what's interesting about this is that both Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts, they faced each other in 2019. Brock Purdy was Iowa State's quarterback. Jalen Hurts was Oklahoma, and it was a high-scoring close game. Oklahoma was blowing them out, but both of them combined, I think they scored like 11, 12 touchdowns combined between both quarterbacks. So Oklahoma won 42-41.
Yeah.
Iowa State had a chance to win it with a 2-point conversion, but they failed. So this is going to be an interesting rematch from that time. Only difference is that this is the championship game. This is the pros. So
Exactly.
Brock Purdy, he's been impressive. Jalen Hurts has been impressive this year. I'm excited. This is two young quarterbacks. One of them is going to take their team to the Super Bowl. But I'm excited. I'm really excited about this game. So let's see who will rise to the occasion.
Very good. Love it.
Now we have the rematch, AFC Championship rematch, Cincinnati, Kansas City. I felt that last year there was something weird about that second half of Kansas City. They didn't come out with the same urgency compared to the first half. If you remember that game very vividly, Patrick Mahomes did not look like himself in the second half. So, but this one, there's something tells me that this one is going to be much more exciting compared to last year. I feel that Cincinnati is super red hot right now. They're not losing. They clicking. They have poise. But Kansas City, they're looking for revenge because they didn't forget what happened last year. Patrick Mahomes, he's not 100%, but he's a gamer. He's going to play. It's going to be in Kansas City again. But I'm going to go Cincinnati 29-26 to win this game. What do you got?
Yeah. Great. That's awesome. I'll say personally, from my perspective, I really enjoyed watching Joe Burrow play football the last 2 seasons. And I mean, you can't say enough about Patrick Mahomes and what he, gives on the field, especially in this last game, considering he's likely going to be playing hurt. I think that'll obviously play into, how the game goes. I expect it to be a good game, but I'm questioning personally what can Patrick Mahomes do the entire game without being able to do his footwork. In NFL, a lot of being quarterback is footwork. And when you're hobbling, it really limits what you can do. Now, he's a great player, and he'll figure out some ways to try to mix it up. But I'm gonna have to go with the Bengals, especially considering that Joe Burrow is undefeated against Patrick Mahomes. So I expect that to continue. Probably a 3-point game. I'll go 21-24.
Good. So before we wrap this up, um, I have an interesting question to ask you. What was Actually, it's two questions that I'll put you on the spot.
Okay.
Number one, which AFC or NFC title game you enjoy the most out of all the years that you watched sports, that you've watched football? And also, what was your first I should wait for the Super Bowl to ask this question, but I'm gonna shoot it right now. What was the first Super Bowl you ever saw on TV?
Okay. First question. My favorite was actually a game that I was at, which was the last NFC title game between the Green Bay Packers and the Cowboys in Dallas. And so I was at that game. At the time, I had no idea that would be the last time we were actually in the NFC title game. But I think about that a lot now. After the years have passed, like wow, I was there, and I didn't realize it would be 20 plus years before we might have a chance to see it again. So we're still ticking. It could be 30 or more by the time we get there, but I hope not. But that's my favorite. As far as the first Super Bowl in my memory, it was the Chicago Bears and the New England Patriots with Walter Payton and the Refrigerator Perry. It was such a cool time. I know you're probably a little young to remember that one, but that was the
I've
first
seen
one.
I've seen the highlights, so I
It
know.
was a fun game. Mike Ditka, and it was really enjoyable, and everybody kind of knew the Bears were gonna win that one, and it was just fun to see it take place. It was a good game too.
And Walter Payton wasn't happy because they kept using him as a decoy.
That's
But
right.
hey,
Never
they
got a
won.
touchdown. They won. Yeah.
They won. So,
Yeah.
But yeah. As for me, I have two. One for
Okay.
AFC and one for NFC title game. The AFC title game, 2006, Patriots versus Colts at Indianapolis. This was the game where the Colts, I remember, they were trailing 21-3, and they came back to win. And this was Peyton Manning's first playoff victory against Tom Brady. And that was the same year that they went on to win the Super Bowl over the Chicago Bears. That's one of my favorite title games. And the other one, it's the 2007 NFC title game, Giants and Packers. People didn't give the Giants any chance of beating Brett Favre and the Packers. They didn't even were given a chance against Tony Romo and the Cowboys because they went 13-3 that year, and they had Terrell Owens in the divisional round. But as a Giants fan, I felt that when they beat the Cowboys, I told myself I feel that they could beat Green Bay, because I felt like Dallas, for some reason, was that team that was going to get in our way, not Green Bay. So, and that happened. They won with a field goal. Yeah. They went to a Super Bowl, and you know what happened rest.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of my first Super Bowl, oh, man, this brings back a lot of memories. Tennessee Titans versus St. Louis Rams. That 1 yard line, Kevin Dyson.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I remember that game was on ABC. Me and my dad, we were watching it. And I think I was rooting for Tennessee, if I remember correctly. I was like, whatever my dad was rooting for, I was going with as well, because, it was my first. It wasn't, I would say that was the first year watching football, but it was what I started watching football during the postseason, not during the regular season. So, yeah, Tennessee versus St. Louis. Kurt Warner, magnificent rookie season. And if you know Kurt, people who don't know Kurt Warner's story to football is unbelievable. So, yeah, that was the first Super Bowl I saw. Kurt Warner throwing that game-winning touchdown to Isaac Bruce that put them 23-16. But to this day, that's my favorite Tennessee Titans team. We're talking about Eddie George, Steve McNair, um, Kevin Dyson, Frank Wycheck. So um, just a unforgettable Super Bowl, and it was my first
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as AFC championship games, like for me, I'm in thinking back, there really have been some great ones, to be honest. Some of the old Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills championship games were crazy fights. Recently, honestly, the one that sticks out in my mind the most is just last year between the Bills and the Chiefs. Man, that game just went back and forth, and it was so exciting. It was never boring, and it was really fun to watch.
All right, there you have it, folks. And those are our picks. And stay tuned for the next content because we're gonna give our reaction for the AFC and NFC title games. So stay tuned for that. Joe, let's enjoy a great Sunday with these two games and let's see which team will rise to the occasion.